Oh yeah.
Tonic dance,
Uh,
tonic dance,
hello.
tonic dancing from the Baden. Tonic dance, tonic dance, tonic dancing from the Baden.
uh, lovely. Hello, all you wonderful Voidwalkers out there.
Hello,
It's good
folks.
seeing y'all once again.
Yes, yes, it is.
Um, I'm Dave.
And I'm E, and Liz is out this week, so we're holding down the fort while she is away.
That's right. And we are
The
the
Confabulators.
Confabulators.
We almost had it. We
Hey!
almost had it.
No. That I would
You
count
would
that
count
as
that?
close enough.
Okay. Mm.
I would count that as close enough. But the challenge is that was two people.
Yeah.
That was not all
We didn't
three
get the
of
hat.
us.
We don't have a hat
So
trick. It doesn't count if it's not a hat
we got to
trick.
hat trick it. That's right. One of my favorite things to see in hockey, hat tricks.
I haven't actually watched that much hockey.
I started getting into it a year or two ago, and I would watch one match between two different teams, and I would kind of, in part, to kind of feel out their vibe, and in part, every time that I watched, I would take it upon myself to learn one rule for the game and not worry about any of the other stuff. And I've learned quite a bit.
How much?
And I have a few favorite teams. Not as much as one might think. I did see a couple of fights, including ones that got both teams kicked off the ice. But very few.
All right, everyone, we got to go home now. We got no more teams, so anyone from the audience want to play? Anyone who can, even if you can just stand on the ice, that's fine. That'll be enough. But so yeah.
For people who are curious about the timeline of that, the first time I decided to watch was the time that Utah had a team, but they were called the Utah hockey club or something like that. And then this past one, they voted on a team name, which is the Mammoths. Which I'm glad that they picked that one. The second place, if they didn't pick that one, I would hope would be the Outlaws. But Mammoth is really good. I like that. I'm not big on the team, but I appreciate the Mammoth.
I think the only team names I know are like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I assume they're an actual team, and the Mighty Ducks, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
The Anaheim Ducks, yeah.
I don't know if they're still.
Funny enough, despite my love for the Mighty Ducks movies and the cartoon,
I really love.
I am not a fan of the Anaheim Ducks.
I've heard they're kind of shit. I feel like I've heard
they're awful. Them and San Jose Sharks are the ones that I thought, oh yeah, I liked them as a kid because of their colors and their mascots. They're awful. They're bad. Like the LA Kings is the only really good one from California. No, I like the Vegas Golden Knights. I like the Washington Capitals. I like the Phillies, the Philly team, whose name I'm forgetting off. I'm forgetting a lot of teams suddenly because I'm on the spot. But what was the other one? Kind of okay with the Blues. That's about it. So I have one team in at least three different places. Anyway, what is hockey leading us away? What is our topic for today?
We're looking to do, I think, a shorter episode today we talked about, but since it's you and me holding down the fort, we figured we might fit in a little bit of discussion of one of our favorite games from the past few years. Cyberpunk 2077, the CD Projekt Red first-person RPG spun off from the tabletop RPG franchise by R. Talsorian Games. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh God, what was his name? The creator of that.
with the Cyberpunk
Yeah,
tabletop game.
yeah. I'm blanking on his
Um,
name right now. Oh, Mike Pondsmith. Mike Pondsmith.
okay. Yeah. Cyberpunk. Uh, I gotta say, I've heard the term cyberpunk
Mm-hmm.
well before I heard of the actual like game.
Same.
Uh, and I think in part because it's just so
Oh
prolific
yeah,
that
because like
um,
genre wise, like I think we've still got a upcoming episode on the topic itself, but I think my first like real introduction into cyberpunk settings and aesthetics of all things,
mhm.
Phantom 2040,
Ah,
which
okay.
was a
I th-
actually that actually hit before the oh god, what's his name, was in Titanic. um
Leo DiCaprio,
no, not Leo, the antagonist guy.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, yeah, the Billy Zane Phantom film came out after
Oh
it.
yeah, the
So
Phantom.
like that's what I was so excited as a kid. That, man, I'm ADHDing us all over the place with this. This is what happens when Liz isn't here. We
It's
lose the
okay.
plot immediately.
It's okay. We got
We do
this.
got this. We do got this. But so yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, the
Mhm.
2020 release.
I will say the first
Hmm.
time I heard of cyberpunk,
Hmm.
or experienced it,
Hmm.
uh, I would say is RoboCop.
RoboCop, yeah.
It's kind of like the beginnings of a cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, I definitely heard and knew of RoboCop before Phantom. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not quite as on the like the quote unquote bleeding edge end of things. Like
yeah,
there was still sort of a modern, like it had a bit more of a 10 minutes in the future instead of a 30 years into the future type
mhm,
vibe. You know what I mean?
yeah. If I were to look at it that way, then I would say it's probably Shadowrun.
Mm.
Um, which I'm sure is a lot of where older people may have heard
Oh yeah.
of cyberpunk before.
And like they've
Um,
had plenty of video game adaptations too, dating back even to the Genesis and Super NES with their respective ones.
yeah.
It's like I've actually been
Um,
hoping for a while now. I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon. That there was a Sega CD game that was not just the Genesis one. It was like a very anime styled one that never came out over here. I've been hoping that'll get an English patch someday.
mhm. The only Shadowrun game that I played as far as like electronic
Hmm.
version has been Shadowrun Dragonfall.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I think I said Shadowrun
You,
at the beginning there,
you
and
you
not
you
Cyberpunk.
almost said
Um,
Cyberpunk and then you immediately corrected. So you're good. You're good.
yeah, yeah. Shadowrun Dragonfall is really fun.
Mm.
Um,
I.
it's got
Hmm.
it's like isometric and it's turn
Oh yeah, it's
based like
the second of the
FF
harebrained.
Tactics.
Yes, the second of the harebrained scheme trilogy, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I know I didn't play Shadowrun Returns, which I think is the first one.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep. I got.
I think I have that on Epic Games.
I
That
have.
and
I have.
Dragonfall in the third
I
one.
have that and Hong Kong on Steam, but
Mhm.
I haven't been able to play them in a while because they didn't get patched to run on Max after Max updated some about a decade ago.
Oh,
So
that's
I
pain.
lost my ability to play. So, I mean, I still have them. So if I ever like get a Windows PC, with the way Windows is these days.
Wait for them to collapse. Somebody buys them and then makes like a benevolent Windows 12 that would be akin to Windows XP.
Or I mean, or alternately, I just get a Steam machine at some point when maybe things aren't insanely priced anymore.
Steam Machine would be good.
Steam machine would be
So
nice. That or
yeah,
build
I wouldn't mind a
that
Steam
or
Machine.
oh god, that there would be an I or do like do I build do I, the person who hasn't ever built a PC before, who's been on Mac since 2011, go and build a Linux machine that can run Steam OS?
I will say building a PC is challenging the first time, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I would say it would be just a case of looking up a general tutorial and then just going with the flow from there. I don't know.
So yeah, Cyberpunk
Um,
2077.
yeah.
So like,
Um,
so obviously Cyberpunk not your first foray into the genre, but how did you come across Cyberpunk? Because I similarly enough, I knew of the tabletop RPG because being generally like Cyberpunk shit is kind of my favorite science fiction subgenre. So I knew about it from the general milieu and being on the net and finding out about that and being like, that's neat. I got no idea how to play it. I'm not buying it because I got no one to play it with, but that's neat.
um, I think where I heard about it first was when everybody started blowing up about it because Keanu Reeves appeared on stage.
Oh, okay.
That was where I first heard of Cyberpunk. The the proper
The
IP.
the IP itself. Okay, so you weren't aware of the
Yeah.
tabletop game originally then.
No, which is a surprise because I've been pretty plugged into a lot of TTRPGs. I started back when TSR was around with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Some people would call it second edition. And then I got into others as I grew into RPGs, like the World of Darkness, and Shadowrun, and what are some of the others? Like Battle Lords of the 23rd Century.
Oh wow.
Which we need more Battle Lords. Bring Battle Lords back again. I know they did a Kickstarter to like bring back like a 20th anniversary or something some time ago. But yeah, like there's a lot of like really cool smaller TTRPGs that are out there. I currently even I'm running Daggerheart, which is something that a lot of people are really loving. And I agree with them on that. I really love it too. And one of the cool things about it is they have what's called campaign. Oh shoot, I forget the name of it specific. It's like campaign something, but they essentially have it set up to where it's like, here's this world that you can use. It's got this kind of genre to it, and here's a bunch of like adjustments that you can make with our base game to make it feel closer to that. And one of the things they have is they call it Motherboard, and that's their futuristic
I think you might have mentioned
cybernetic
this before, yeah.
Version of Daggerheart, where they make adjustments and stuff like that to make it feel very sci-fi futuristic. I have not played that. I'm actually running a campaign with some folks right now that's based off of my love for Metroidvanias.
Nice.
But that being aside, I hadn't heard of Cyberpunk. I think they're on Cyberpunk Red right now for the TTRPG. But yeah, my first introduction, hearing all about Keanu Reeves, which got me excited. I was really excited, but I'm like, I can't afford that. I couldn't afford the game at that time. So I know that we talked about this behind the curtain a little bit, but I didn't get the experience that you got. So,
Yeah, so for me, like I said, I'd known about Cyberpunk, the tabletop RPG, for a while. I forget where I first came across it. It was in general internet searching, people talking about RPGs, that sort of thing. And so the way I first heard about the game, I would say then from what you've said is actually 6 years before you did, because I'm looking at it right now, Dave. I'm going to send it to you in our chat here. That is the original announcement trailer. Now, before you click that, When would you think that is from? When do you think they released that at E3?
Um, just based off of the paused trailer,
Without looking at the date,
like
without looking at the
like
date.
yeah, I haven't looked at the date yet.
Okay.
Just based off of like the thumbnail,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, it feels very 2015, 2016.
You're close, but by
I
Price is
am.
Right rules, you still get the fail horn.
Bum bum
That
bum.
trailer
Wow.
is from 2013.
2013.
Yeah. Also, apparently, I was wrong. That was January 2013 when they announced it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the Keanu trailer that like the official like reveal thing, like, hey, this is going to be out soon sort of deal. That was
Mhm.
2019, a full 6 years of people wondering when this thing was finally going to happen, which is an interesting
Wow.
thing to get into when we get a little further into the episode about the trials and tribulations behind this development and release, because oh boy, that was a clusterfuck. So yeah, that thing hit and like is basically kind of like the sort of trailers that get put out. Like it's a thing in the industry for years now where you put out a concept trailer to basically be a pitch for people to sign up to the company to work on developing the game.
Mhm.
It's like I forgive it's in there, but no, I don't think it's in there at the moment. So yeah, I'm skimming through the end here. So I think, God, when did Witcher 3 hit? Witcher 3 came
It feels like it's
out.
been like 10 years ago or something.
That was 2015. So Witcher 3 had not even hit yet when this trailer initially comes out. Would not hit for another two
Wow.
years. So gives you an idea of like the length of time that was being worked on. So I was kind of excited as hell, and also like I fucking loved that track. I don't think I've heard anything else by the band. It's Bullets, uh, perf- performed by Archive, a British band, or at least a UK band.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if they're specifically British or not. Darius Keeler and Pollard Barrier apparently are the writers. And so I listened to that track over and over and over again, coincidentally, alongside the Metal Gear Rising soundtrack, because I think Rising had hit around this same time. So I'm like bouncing back and forth in my audio intake between these things for the longest fucking time, waiting for
Mhm.
information on this game to finally come out. So you had a bit less weight than I did, because that
Yeah.
game finally did hit. Like it finally released, arguably too early. Well, not
Yeah.
even arguably, because I'll get to that in a moment. That released in 2020, like just like in the midst of the pandemic, if memory serves. It's like,
Yeah.
and like it was like I mean, CD Projekt Red is known for their games initially being buggy messes that they then go and patch over time and become like community favorites to the ends of the earth. And
Mm.
Cyberpunk 2077 was no different. But one of the things that I have found endlessly fascinating is in the postmortems that were coming out about that years after the fact was like know how like the big 2.0 update came out in like 2022, right?
Yeah.
And like that that fixed so many bugs, paved the way for that year's DLC Phantom Liberty.
Mhm.
Also brought with it a complete revision of the stat system to make it an actual meaningful like progression tree and like build diversity. instead of
Yeah.
just being like, here's some incremental stat upgrades that really don't mean jack shit sort of RPG
Yeah.
mechanics, which are always kind of grates on me. But so the thing is that all hits in 2022. Postmortems are coming out after that, where we finally start hearing about some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes at CD Projekt Red on the development of the game. And one of the things that comes out in those postmortems is that you apparently had devs telling corporate, yeah, this game's not going to be ready till 2022. Again, this is before it
Mhm.
hits. And so the picture that kind of gets painted, to me at least, is this was a game that, like a lot of big games in the industry, like was kind of mismanaged, and the executives are just trying to get this thing out the door so they can, get like, meet earnings forecasts and all that sort of shit. But like
Yeah.
it's a clusterfuck out there. Part of the problem is like this game clearly cannot run on the generation of hardware like that is out at the time. Like PS PS5 and Xbox Series is just about to hit, if memory serves. I may be fuzzier on this. I forget if that's 2020 or 2021 when those actually hit. But
Mhm.
like, so they're releasing on the PlayStation 4. I mean, PC obviously, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Yeah.
And Xbox One and PS4 cannot handle that fucking thing. I was playing on a base PS4 at that time, not even a PS4 Pro. And there was an issue I had with that. Like, again, this was such a buggy mess. I'm all over the place trying to cover this ground here.
Mhm.
That it is the one time that Sony did a actual God's honest truth refund for digital games. That was the first time they ever did that on the PlayStation Network Marketplace, which
Hmm.
tells you how bad that whole thing was. And so,
Yeah.
like, in my own experience, I just trucked through it. But every night I played, it was almost like clockwork. I would play for 2 or 3 hours, and the game would crash. I don't know specifically why it would crash. My best guess is probably a memory leak issue where enough basically finally accumulated to the point where it couldn't purge shit out of the system, out of the RAM to
Yeah.
keep running. So it would just crash back to the system menu, be like, we ran into an error and the game crashed. You want to send an error report in and maybe restart the game? And I'm like, fucking fine. Restart, go back to my latest save, continue on, eventually beat game entirely out of spite. And I was already kind of like as I had been torn on the game for the longest time because in the year or two leading up to release, there had become a lot of controversy surrounding the game because of the
Mhm.
fact that like some of the aesthetic choices that had been made were causing a lot of issues, particularly like for the trans community. Like a lot of people were justifiably insulted because of I think it's I forget what the brand is. I think it's Chromaticore
Mhm.
ads, which they also replicated and put up in their E3 booth. Which, have you seen those, Dave?
No.
Okay, let me grab that for you real quick because I don't know if I'm going to put that in the show because that's going to require maybe a little bit of a mosaic,
Mhm.
but you'll see why in a second. So, in the game, there is a series of ads. Well, one ad, it's just pasted all over the place, for a energy drink called Chromaticore, whose slogan is "Mix it up." And Dave, here is the graphic for that. You notice something?
Oh, oh, I understand completely.
Yes. And they posted that up as a physical ad in their E3 booth that year. So, for the folks who obviously may not know what we're talking about right now, I just wanted to get that reaction from Dave. The Chromaticore ad has a slogan there, mix it up. It has a can of the Chromaticore energy drink there. And what is presented is a woman in a futuristic jacket and a shiny blue leotard that barely is covering anything that needs to be covered, and like a foot long penis that is
Yeah.
stretched skin tight against that unitard.
And is very clearly meant to be provocative
Yes.
by the fact that it looks so erect.
So erect, and also the mix it up. So, as you can imagine,
And
a lot of.
and there's also, if you look at like the can itself,
Mm-hmm,
it says Chromanticore,
mm-hmm.
Unchain the Monster.
Yeah. And also, like, the whole idea of the manticore being this kind of chimeric beast in
Yeah.
mythology, too, which is. So, there's things there, and so I had mixed feelings on it as well, because it's like, I think people were justifiably upset with it. I think people, if they're still upset, are justifiably upset with it. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm fully upset with it for various reasons I'm not fully comfortable in getting into on the
Mhm.
podcast here. The only good thing I can say about it really is, well, they're advertising a trans woman like they would a cis woman, I guess.
They are.
It's like
It,
like
it, it looks that way, yeah.
it's like, for me, that aspect comes in insofar as, like, I can see the way it is deeply exploitative, which part of the theme within Cyberpunk is that they are in a deeply exploitative cyberpunk corporate dystopia.
Yeah.
And this is one advertisement out of a series of just absolutely crass sexualized advertisements that you will find throughout Night City. Like, this is a drop in the
Yeah.
bucket comparatively. And so, for me,
Stuff like women with three
yep,
mouths, like
with their tongues leering
I
out.
think there's a I think there's a dude that's like looks like an absolute pervert
Yep,
and like has like a pair of ass cheeks right in his
yep,
face.
yep,
Like just crazy stuff like that.
yep.
So like this
The
advertisement
horny
that
cowgirl one, I don't remember the details of
yeah,
exactly without going and looking it up and taking forever to Google that. But coming
yeah.
back to this one,
But
like,
like
but like I,
I can I can see why this advertisement
mm-hmm,
exists. I can see their reasoning for it. Night City and that world
mm-hmm,
is in some ways more accepting of trans and non-binary
mm-hmm,
people than our world.
mm-hmm,
And so something like this in that setting, I can see how it would feel more normalized,
mm-hmm,
to for lack of a better word,
mm-hmm.
to have an advertisement like
Yeah,
this. Um, but I can see why people would be upset by it.
yeah,
And I don't want to take that away from
yeah.
them. Their feelings
No, because
are
it's
valid.
completely justified. Because, like I said, I have
Yeah.
extremely mixed feelings about it myself. I range from being like, yeah, this feels like being part of the sideshow again, to, again, the thing I said, I feel strangely gender affirmed in the fact that this doesn't feel like they're framing this as, look at this freaky man, instead of, leering at me. Like it's clearly like leering at her with the male gaze is
Yeah.
how it feels to me. And
Yeah.
there's like it's a weird feeling of like, well, it's gender affirming in a weird way, still kind of misogynist, but hey, there's a weird gender affirming aspect vibe for me at least. So
Yeah.
that's
Um,
so this fucking thing has occupied my
it's
mind for like 6 fucking years now, Dave.
I can see that. I can see that for like a lot of folks,
Mhm,
as well. Just because it does fit in that world.
mhm,
It feels like it fits very naturally
mhm.
in that world. Um,
And then also you've
but
got
yeah,
like the entire socio-political context that this game is coming out in, which is like the start, like in the mid aughts, you had like the burgeoning social acceptance of trans people. Trump administration hits, or actually Obergefell happens. The right needs to like pivot to a different course on how to attack the queer community. Trump wins the election, and they go whole hog in demonizing the trans community. So this thing is coming out in the midst of that nightmare.
yeah,
So it's just a giant clusterfuck. So
yeah. So, what was your experience in playing 2077?
so
Because you played it when
mhm.
it first came out.
Yeah, I played it when it first came out. So like I said, I finished that game out of spite. Again, a mix of all the bugs, the constant nightly crashes, and obviously the thing we've just talked about with this ad playing in the back of my mind, and I'm wondering like, am I being self-hating playing this in spite of this? And so the thing I kind of came away from is that Cyberpunk 2077 is like it is. I'm trying to find my right wording here. It's a varied game. It is a diverse game in the voices that you can feel are contributing to every aspect of its development, from the writing to the direction to the uh, graphical aesthetic, not as in like the realism aspect, but in like these kind of world designs here. There is no consistent voice that I would say exists in Cyberpunk
Mhm.
2077. It very much felt, even through all my frustrations, as a game that was being made by a bunch of people with with a wide swath of values. The one
Mhm.
thing I did like was like, to draw a comparison, I've never been a particular Rockstar fan. I played two
Yeah.
Rockstar games in my life. Both of them were um, the the Red Dead Redemption games.
Mhm.
I think I have a copy I was given for free through PlayStation Plus for GTA 5 that I've never actually gotten around to playing. But like Rockstar's always been a deeply cynical company, and it's like I was incredibly put off with the writing of the first Red Dead Redemption in that way.
Mhm.
And so I bring this up only so I can say that while Cyberpunk does has an edge to it and can be edgelordy at times, it never felt completely like the kind of nihilistic cynicism that put me off so bad from Rockstar's style of things. There is still at Cyberpunk's core, and I think by the time the game finalizes in 2022 and you get Phantom Liberty in there, get that side story in the mix, the earnestness and sincerity that is there and runs throughout the work really comes to a fore, I think. And so
Mhm.
for me especially, that comes we you and I haven't actually talked about, I mean, we both have talked off show about this before, what our choices for backgrounds were. We both went at we both came in as Oh God, Nomad, right?
Yeah.
So I felt the Nomad backstory and the entrance was a really interesting one. It provides you kind of this outsider view of Night
Mhm.
City, and obviously the Nomad ending. Spoiler alert, folks. There will be spoilers throughout this probably. Ends with you leaving Night City. And were you playing
Yeah.
a male V or a female V when you played?
Female V.
Female V. Okay. Who did you romance?
Mhm. Judy.
Okay. We are going 1 for 1 on each of these so far. Holy shit. So yeah. So yeah, I romanced Judy as well. Judy both male and female have a heterosexual relationship and a homosexual relationship that you can get
Yeah.
into. I don't and so I went with Judy for mine. All of
Mhm.
my like my 2.5 playthroughs, I've done 2.5 because I went back to an old save after a subsequent patch afterwards to see how that played out, the changes, and carry on from there.
Yeah.
So that ends with you and Judy, at least in the way I ran it, both of us getting the hell out of Night City to find a new way through life. And
Yep.
I thought that was a very, like, I would honestly say everything involving Judy's storyline is incredibly heartfelt, incredibly earnest, and feels really true in a way that I'm having trouble articulating properly. It's like
Yeah.
you initially meet Judy because you need to uh, get this hacking shit done for the heist that you're gonna pull. Oh God, what was her name? The femme fatale who brings you this job, or brings this Sean this
Oh,
job to steal the chip in the first place.
jeez. I don't remember her name.
Cyberpunk 2070. Such a pivotal character, and we don't remember her name. Was it Rachel?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Okay, let me go find Judy listed here and
Okay.
okay, Judy
But
Alvarez. Let's see. Da, 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 da. No, that's her grandmother. 26. This is still getting into the goddamn. Oh my god. Evelyn. Evie.
Evelyn.
Right,
Okay.
Evie. Okay. So, like,
Yeah.
her whole quest line, like, I guess to get into this properly, let's set a bit of a foundation here. So, the
Yeah.
plot of Cyberpunk 2077. Dave, do you want to take that, or do you want me to?
Basically what happens is you get after you do the initial thing
Mm-hmm.
to initial job to kind of get you into the world or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you get tied in with oh shoot, what's his name?
Dexter Deshawn?
No.
Jackie?
Your partner,
Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jackie Wells.
Jackie.
Your tomb.
I'm ashamed that I don't remember Jackie's name. Um you get tied in with Jackie and you get a job, and this job is to steal this chip from Arasaka
Yep.
uh, that's given to you by Dexter. Real piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you get everything set up and it's all looking like it's running good until you get to the very end and you collect the thing. And then you witness the murder of the Arasaka head by dude's son.
Yep.
And then you get into a major escape chase where your boy Jackie gets killed protecting the thing.
Yep.
And so it's a chip that goes in your head. So you pop it in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's partially fucked up after everything that happened, I think Jackie gets shot in the head in that spot.
No, he didn't have it in him at the time. I don't think it was still in the container, but the container got damaged in the
Okay,
shootout.
then that was what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things happen
Oh
at
yeah.
once.
It's like you're in an armored Delamain car, and they are still gunning after you, and like Jackie gets fucking shot. It is bad. You get the
It
choice of whether or not
is.
you want to send him
Um,
home or not. I did 2 different versions of that, which are wildly different. The harder
I
option, like the emotionally harder option, I think is the better option in the end, which is you can choose either to. There's 3 choices. I forget what one of them is. You can choose to send him to your oh god, what is the term for your Ripper Doc? You can
Yep.
choose to send him
Victor.
home, or you can
Hmm.
do another thing. I forget what the other thing is. I initially chose to send him to Victor because I thought sending Jackie's corpse in a armored limo to his mother's front door was going to be the worst thing in the world. No, turns out the worst thing in the world was if you send if you send his corpse to Vic, she doesn't know whatever happens to him, I don't think.
Oh shit.
Or like
That's a massive change. Uh,
yeah, you don't get the funeral or anything for him if you don't send him to her.
I sent him home.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like it's the emotionally
because
harder, but
I felt like he would want that, and
yeah.
I feel like his mother would have wanted that, and it just felt right,
And,
you
and
know.
it is right because like not only do you get that sequence, but like it just feels like oh this is the way like this isn't the way it should have gone, but with the shit that's gone down, this is the what we should have done.
Yeah. Um,
But so
and you
anyway,
also get to reconcile his mom and Misty.
yes you do, which is amusing because
Um,
then Misty's like I'm starting to debate whether or not I preferred it the other way around.
yeah. Um,
So anyway,
but
you shove the chip in your head. You shove the chip in your head.
yep. And then it gets permanently stuck in there, and Johnny Silverhands, aka Keanu Reeves, starts being real hostile because he suddenly appears and is like really
Oh
pissy.
right, we
Um,
didn't mention one part here. The part where why we
the
mentioned
escape chase.
no, the part why we said Dexter's the Sean's a fuckhead.
Oh yeah. He backstabs you.
Yep,
He backstabs you, pops you in the head,
and leaves you
and
for
you wake up
dead.
in a trash dump.
Yep, you start seeing a dead rocker boy in your head.
The funny thing though is after he pops you in the head and you wake up in the trash,
Mm-hmm.
It's him again, trying to find your body, because somebody who's meaner than him wants that body.
Yep.
It turns into a whole thing. And then before you know it, everybody's after you for various reasons.
It's like
Um,
the Sean like is excuse me is found by Goro Takamura, who's basically like he's the former bodyguard for Saburo Arasaka,
yep,
but like he's already caught wise to the fact that like Saburo's son, I can't God, what is Saburo's son's name? Ah,
dickhead.
dickhead Arasaka. Now, let me grab that real quick just so I can do it
Yeah,
properly.
but I
Um,
will say Takamura is a real dude. I like that guy. Um,
Yorinobu Arasaka. So he's already aware
yeah,
that Yorinobu's claim that like you killed him is fucking bullshit. He doesn't quite know all the details, but he knows Yorinobu's the one who did the deed.
yeah.
So like he and Deshaun pull your corpse out of the junkyard. Then he guns Deshaun down. And it basically like, you're coming with me because he wants to get the information out of you to figure out just what went down there and how the two of you can nail Yorinobu's ass to the wall.
I mean, to be fair, Sean deserved it. Um,
I mean, he did shoot
but
us in the fucking skull.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it all turns into this massive campaign, which is fantastic. It's the story chains are mostly really well done. I think there's like small bits and pieces that are kind of loose, and I will say that while there is some differences as far as like choices mattering,
Mm-hmm.
there's some bits and pieces that are kind of like not that. It's to give an example. when you choose what background you have, whether it's corporate or street kid or nomad,
you're gonna meet Jackie. Either way,
you're gonna meet Jackie, and that's fine. That's fine and all. But then it's like the same story beat montage introduction.
Yeah.
For each and every one. It's not different in some way. It's the same thing. And I can understand why, right? Because we're looking at like budget, we're looking at time frame, you know.
There's only
I'm
so
sure
far
that they
you
had
can
to deal
branch
with
things out and keep things still, like keep the machine working.
and I'm sure they had a ton of Captain Crunch.
Oh god.
Because game companies, especially publishers and people who have money invested, like to push Captain Crunch real hard. Yeah. But
again, those fucking postmortems, man. Jesus Christ.
It's one of those things where I both understand it and why, but I kind of wish that they had more time to do more choices mattering, and then have like maybe moments where one trail lead meets the other trail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can kind of understand that. And it's why I don't like the very, very brief tangent. That's why I don't like the Telltale games as much as I like certain things, like The Walking Dead when they did that series. I like Clementine. I like Lee. I like those characters. I don't like how the games have the small branch and then they come together, small branch, come together, small branch, come together. Because it just shows that, okay, you made these choices, but do they really matter? No, not really. Cyberpunk, I will say, they have choices that matter more. But I think in terms of certain things like your background, other than like a few small verbal prompts that you could like make, because people can kind of recognize your background somehow, it doesn't really do too much.
It's kind of like the problem at the end of the Mass Effect series. I don't know if you ever played those. But like, as much as Mass Effect was a game that was built on choice, in the end you do just, the choices don't end up mattering that much because, again, imagine the issues of choice in a video game stretch across 3 games. And while, depending on how things play out, certain characters may not appear in the 3rd one because they may be dead because of choices you made in the 2nd one, for example, or even the 1st one. 1 or 2 characters will die in that game, so they will not be. So if you continue that save into the other 2, they will not be present because they will have canonically died in your version of the story. But in the end, like, you know, like Mass Effect ends up with the trinary. Actually, I think they added a 4th choice at the end there, so a quaternary choice where no matter what you did, here's your 4 choices at the end of the game. Enjoy picking your ending right at the very end. Which, to an extent, Cyberpunk has a similar issue, but not as badly, I don't think. I think it managed to incorporate it much more naturally and much less like you were picking your choice out of a menu. They nest and integrate them, I think, a little better. But I think that at the end of the day, that it's just the issue of like, how do you incorporate branching narrative and player agency within a crafted experience that has to end?
It's tough.
And I know it's not a thing I envy. It's not a workload I envy. So
I think about it a lot because I would love to make a role-playing game, like a video role-playing game that does have a lot of branching paths.
Yeah.
You know, and you also know that I'm a huge fan of FMV games.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of those FMV games, one of the things that they rely upon because of the fact that, well, we can only film so much and we have to make it make sense, right? Um, you get branching
Yeah.
choices, and you know when you pick those choices, because typically it's a you click which one you want that you would choose. Um, you know, you get those things accounted for.
Yeah.
And so they do that. But those games are generally pretty short.
Yeah.
Like you could probably play most of them in the span of 30 minutes to an hour,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're watching them and stuff, right? Like it's basically a choose your own adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in terms of like a video game like Cyberpunk, that's much harder to do. And
Yeah.
like I said, I get that. I just wish that there was, when they say choices matter, I do wish that it was
Yeah.
more what I picture with choices matter versus what I know that,
Mm-hmm.
they only have so much time and money. But still, my heart goes, I wish that there were more choices that mattered.
Uh, to bring this back to the thing that we are talking about before with Judy, one way I think they kind of solve that issue is while the consequences of your like the conclusions are kind of set in stone a little bit. Like there's not much variability for how you can end the game. What
Yeah.
I think they do is they make choices matter in the living of those choices up through the end. So for example, like going with Judy's quest line, that's entirely possible to just fall off of a good chunk of that. So Judy is a hacker who is with this group called the Mox. They are a militant group of sex workers who generally organize at this club called Lizzie's, named after Lizzie Borden. And the reason you meet Judy is because part of that whole heist that we talked about, the foundation of the story here,
Yeah.
comes together because of a doll named Evelyn Parker. Now, a doll, as you find out in the game, is a type of sex worker who, uh, borrowing directly out of Gibson here, I won't spoil too many details here about Neuromancer, is a type of sex worker who can basically submerge their consciousness and let a programmed sort of artificial consciousness rise up in their place for their client's wishes. So Evelyn ends up becoming a winds up getting Yorinobu Arasaka as a regular client, to the point like he's even bringing her to his penthouse. That's how she finds out about the chip. She sees the chip as, or actually, she gets recruited by the Voodoo Boys, if memory serves, because of that connection with Yorinobu. Because the Voodoo Boys want the chip because they know what's on it, which is again the consciousness of Johnny Silverhand, and we'll get into why they want that in a little bit. But anyhow, Evelyn goes to Sean about this, gets the heist set up, and because of the various things that you need to do to get prepped for it, she brings you to meet Judy. Anyway, heist goes down, heist goes wrong. You still get out with the chip, but long story short, everything goes to hell for everyone who was in on that heist. Jackie died. They literally fried T-Bug before you and Jackie even got out of there. T-Bug was another hacker recruited for this mission who was like running uh, the data aspect of this in the background during the
Yeah.
thing. You get almost killed and are now basically dealing with a cybernetic terminal illness as a dead rocker boy. It is starting to take over your brain as the chip is trying to rewire you to become him, to revive him, because the chip's slightly broken now, so it's not functioning right. And obviously, Deshawn gets killed by Goro, as we mentioned before. And Evie doesn't come out of this either. She just up and disappears. And I forget what exactly the details on that are. I think it's related to Yorinobu and company figuring out what happened, or maybe it was the Voodoo, or it might have been the Voodoo Boys. I forget which it is. But either way,
Mhm.
Judy comes to you to find out where Evelyn disappeared to. And that proceed. Oh, right, right. No, I remember now. Okay. I'll get into the specifics if it merits it when we go through this. So you go on a quest with Judy that runs for a good chunk of the game to find Evelyn and track down what happened to her. And
Mhm.
eventually you do. You find out that while she was at work, if memory serves, the Voodoo Boy sent a hack into her that basically fried her brain. Didn't kill her outright, but fried her bad. And like the guy who ran the brothel then basically sold her off as broken goods. And she
Yep.
subsequently got murdered after that. That's right. It wasn't a revenge thing. It was okay. Yeah. So that's how that plays out. And the implications are that Judy and Evie had been an item. Oh wait, no, 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 she didn't die yet. That's right. You actually do find her because there's the bit there with you and Judy finding her, getting her, and trying to take care of her for a while at Judy's apartment.
Yep.
Until sadly, now I remember. So,
Yeah.
content warning,
That.
folks. Evie ends up when neither of you are around, killing herself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, and through this, you and Judy have been around each other for a while. You two have bonded, and the two of you even bond over her death. And that bond that starts from like a partnership of necessity to a friendship ends up, depending on if you choose to pursue this route, turns into a romantic connection between the two of you that can run through the end of the game, the two of you leaving the city together.
Yeah.
And so I find Judy's questline to be one of the most, even though it is extremely tragic, to be one of the most rewarding and most heartfelt and deeply honest story arcs within the game. And honestly, that is a lot of why I've really loved Cyberpunk 2077 is the earnestness in Judy's quest line and the way that earnestness appears in other aspects as well. There's elements within like the Nomad quest line as well. What is her name? Your Nomad connection, Dave. Help me remember. She's
Uh.
romanceable in the main in the
Yeah.
from the main quest line. Oh,
Um.
found it. Pan Am with Pan Am.
Pan Am. Yeah.
It was like there's a great depiction of friendship there, and I felt like
Yeah.
a very good way they developed a female friendship there as well. And you really feel like family in with her Nomad clan throughout the game if you go down that path. And so, like, it's things like that that, despite all of the very real, let us be frank, very real problems with the game that have really made me fall in love with it when I came back to it in 2022 for the 2.0 update, and are the things that
Yeah.
really stick with me in the end. Because it tells me,
Yeah.
like, there are people who do have an earnest heart writing and working on this game, even with some of the, frankly, chuddery aspects of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of it's it's a game that has a lot of like surprising hard-boiled detective
Hmm.
style story.
Hmm.
Which I will say noir is not a genre,
A
it is a
style.
style.
Hmm.
Hard-boiled detective is the genre. The mystery
Yeah.
hard-boiled detective. That's the genre.
Mm-hmm.
This game has a lot
Mm-hmm.
of hard boiled detective mystery
Mm-hmm.
to it. Even though it's shiny, neon,
Mm-hmm.
cyberpunk stuff, it is very detective, very hard boiled
I
detective.
mean,
You go
like, I would
on,
say even within cyberpunk, I mean, within the cyberpunk genre, noir is basically like implanted within the genre as a core element, I would say.
yeah. Um, so much so that I couldn't help but notice just how much of it stands out. Like there's that one really lengthy chain of events involved where you meet up with a guy who is trying to figure out where these kids are going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say content warning here.
Oh, this one I
Um,
remember.
and and as you
Oh
go
yeah,
along,
River.
you find out,
River
yeah,
looking for his
you,
nephew who's
yeah,
fallen in with this shit.
yeah, you find out that there's this sicko who is keeping kids basically in like tubes, um, and
Like,
is doing some really messed up stuff to them.
are we good with
Um,
me saying a little bit more about what's going on there?
yeah, go for
So,
it.
like, what you find out is like there is this serial predator who, like, I think they call him Peter Pan because he's been targeting like preteen and teenage boys.
Mhm.
And what you find out is like he was this guy who like grew up heavily abused by his father on the farm he grew up on, and what he wound up doing was all this abuse kind of like warped his mind where he thinks he's saving these boys by taking him. I don't remember if it's actually his childhood farm or just one similar to it that you eventually find them in, but he's like literally strapped them into the stalls of these where cattle would be kept and injected with hormones, and he's basically trying to fix them in the ways that he feels like he was failed to be fixed, and why he let it's a whole deeply psychosexual fucking nightmare. And you can
Mhm.
actually fuck that thing up. You can actually fail to save those kids, including River's nephew, which, if that happens, he will never speak to you again.
Yeah, I did not fail that.
No, no, that was out of the question. But so I've
One thing,
saved them like 2 or 3 times. I forget if I finished that on the half playthrough or not. But yeah.
one thing I will say though, and it's probably the only thing that I would call a flaw in my
Hmm.
my playing of this
Hmm.
game is I may have rewound time one time uh in order to
Save scum,
uh
save scum, save scum,
yeah,
save scum.
I saved scum uh in order to
We are a pro.
not get Judy mad so that way I would get the ending that I wanted.
That is just we
I
are a
did it
pro save scumming podcast. Play games
I
the
did
way
it
you
one
want,
time,
folks.
and it's the only time that I did it. And I was like, I I couldn't live with myself breaking Judy's heart like that.
I
Which I didn't even realize until she walked up to me and started yelling at me and like being like "fuck you" and yada
Oh
yada. I'm like, oh
wow. I
shit,
don't know.
that feels
I
bad.
don't think I had that happen to me. So,
I don't remember what decision it was that I had made at that time, but I figured out what it was, and then I went back and I was like, we're gonna just make this go away.
it's like going back to
um,
the well about Judy again. That has one of my favorite, like, obviously there are like the big date moments, which is where the romance
yeah,
is secured on your run. And I absolutely love hers. It feels deeply to me like it was the one that they put the most into from what I've seen of the others.
yeah,
And that is, you find out Judy's like, she's like not from Night City proper. She grew up in a town just out in the outskirts of Night City that is currently flooded because they built up a dam, and to get the dam going, it wound up, they had to flood the town for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so she takes you on a dive to see her hometown. Also, while
Yeah.
both of you are like, I forget what they call it, the like the sim stem thing that they do. There's a different, the brain dives, or is it brain
Oh
dive?
yeah. Brain dancing?
Brain dancing, yes. Like she is a brain dance uh, editor and engineer by trade, and
Yeah.
so the long story short there is like she's got this experimental one she's doing where she wants to hook up two people on a brain dance recording, and it'll record both their experiences and them feeling each other's experiences. So V and Judy actually feel each other's everything during this recording and this dive into scuba diving through her hometown. And it's
Mm-hmm.
haunting, it's beautiful, it's nostalgic, and it's just everything you could want in a romantic story beat like that. It is an absolutely beautiful narrative experience, I think. And
It
then
really is.
it's one of those things where it's like you can tell that's where a lot of the Judy romance went into, because after that happens, not a lot of build happens after that until it's the ending and y'all are leaving with the, like, if you take the Nomad out anyway. Uh,
Yeah.
but I did like that there, like, afterwards you get all of those text messages from her. I wish you could have a few more dates maybe, but those text messages are very fun, especially when it starts becoming the arc of you meeting her grandmother.
Yeah.
And it's the most wonderful and hilarious thing in the world. And she's terrified that her grandmother is not going to like or approve of you. And I forget if you can fail it, but I, at the very least, wound up with her grandmother loving me.
That's
I
very
love
sweet.
it. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, I want to I
God,
want
there's
to
so
talk
much to
about
talk
some of
about with this.
the other things because
Mhm.
look, we can go about Judy all day
Oh yeah,
long, and
a deep,
I
deep
think the
dive into.
community writ large loves
Oh
Judy,
yeah,
um, and understandably so.
yes, very
Now,
much.
I want to talk about some of the fun bullshit
Okay.
in this
We haven't
game.
even touched on
Um,
Phantom Liberty and like the noir by way of John Carpenter. That whole fucking thing is.
yeah. Um, so some of the fun things in this game are the goofy shit you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let me tell you, I had a lot of fun with the goofy shit. Um,
Wake up,
so
samurai. We got a city to do goofy shit in.
that's
Yup.
right. Like one of my favorite things is the talking gun.
Yes. Oh God, what is
You
his
remember?
name? Oh God.
Um, I I don't remember
Fuck.
his name
Oh hell,
offhand.
Skippy. It's Skippy the
Skippy.
smart pistol.
Yeah, Skippy. God, I love Skippy.
You can
And
make
one
it. You
thing
can make
that
him permanently non-lethal too. He'll shoot ankles
yeah,
instead.
I did. I did.
He's
I
like,
made him
really?
non-lethal
That's
because
what you want to use me for?
I was doing a non-lethal run
Yeah.
and with my playthrough, and I was like, "Yeah, we're doing non-lethal, buddy." And you know what? It was a really good time hearing all the cracks from him. And if you go down the Skippy quest line,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which I did
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't realize that when you do, you lose Skippy eventually.
Yep.
Like Skippy leaves.
I found out about that and I
made
never
me
completed it, so I got to keep Skippy.
it made me so sad.
Bum
For that
bum
very
bum
reason.
dum de dum
Um
dum bum bum bum.
and I wish that there was a way to like have your own Skippy.
I forget. I
Um
forget who is Skippy's original owner. Is it the one lady? I feel like I've heard it's the one the lady with the eye patch you're doing jobs for at one point.
I think it is.
Okay.
Because you bring him back to her.
Okay, yeah.
That's where the quest line terminates. Let's see here. What was your initial choices for like a build in this game?
God, I don't even remember now. It's been a while since my last playthrough. I tended to kind of go a little bit of like Street Samurai with Hacker. Like
I can tell you mine.
I didn't push too far into muscle. I basically I had the ability to hack people, and then I cut them up with mantis arms.
I went Hacker Man, Muscle Man, because I was like, I want to be completely non-lethal as much as I can. I want to sneak around. I want to knock people unconscious, and I want to do the fisticuffs while hacking.
So you got gorilla arms,
because I did.
Those guys go flying.
Gorilla arms. But also when I started in the hacker stuff, which is a harder way to begin because you're not as like strong per se. But if you sneak up on dudes and you knock them out, right? Or if you find ways to sneak around, it's fine. And you get more stuff by doing that.
So you didn't have
and I learned that.
Oh, wait. So by the time you got,
I learned.
I'll hold it off. I'll hold off.
I learned that lesson from watching people play Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh yeah.
Because if you didn't start with a lot of strong hacking stuff, you missed a lot of stuff in that game.
I mean, you were in a world based around computers at that point, so.
Yeah. Plus, with the right hacks, you could just render people unconscious in Cyberpunk and just keep going.
I've set so many people's skulls on fire. Maybe you shouldn't have your head full of things that can be set on fire. That feels like a lesson to me.
Like hair.
Or, thousands of dollars worth of electronics and computer equipment wired directly into your brain that I'm now overclocking to the point that your head is on fire.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would run around and I would go to places and I would sneak. I would shut people down, or I would like choke them out, or something like that. Once I got non-lethal things like punching, like stronger punching capabilities, or like non-lethal guns, for example. I just went full force on that. Which was great for like the Psycho quest line, because the lady wanted them to be not killed. I can tell you that there's one Psycho in particular that was like the bane of my existence. And it was the lady that was in the coffin in the alleyway. Like, that lady
I forgot about
was
them.
Bonkers. She was so hard, especially for non-lethal. Oh, I did it, but it took like multiple tries. Like not one, not like 2 or 3. It took a lot.
That reminds me. I think we've talked about it on a previous episode. I think it's already gone up by now. We brought up cyberpsychosis as a element in Cyberpunk works, and how other IPs that are Cyberpunk tend to handle similar issues. But what is your thoughts on cyberpsychosis, like both diegetically and exegetically as a concept?
So in the game, I love the idea. I think it says something in regards to like these people are, because part of Cyberpunk is wrestling with what it means to be human, which I think is a future episode. So I won't dive too hard into it. Kind of what it means to be human. If you replace something, are you still human? How much is replaced before you are no longer human? Or do you stay human? Right. It brings up things like that old thing of like, if you replace a bit of this boat that you're traveling on, by the time that you get to the end of your journey and you've replaced everything, is it the same boat? Kind of deal. you know, and I think with Cyberpunk and other games like that, it's a good question, a good philosophical question that you can explore through story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as Cyberpunk is concerned, just to keep it pretty quick, I would say you're still human,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
As long as you have a consciousness, you are still human. But in terms of the real world, right? I would still say that you're human.
Yeah.
Granted, there's
like the ableism aspect of it all.
Yeah, you know, and I have friends who have I'll just say differing abilities,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a better way of phrasing it offhand, right? And they have implements and prosthetics and stuff like that to help them do what they need to do every day. You know, I also know that we have technology now where people can connect their brain directly to a computer and not only be able to communicate, but also be able to do other things.
Yeah.
When before they could not.
Yeah.
But then I look at that and I look at who's in charge of that.
Yeah.
Who's paying for that. And my brain stops going, this is really cool, and goes to, what is this company's motives? Which you could also look at with like Cyberpunk and stuff, to bring it back around to the fun part, which is like fictional game world.
Like, no one should probably put anything from Neuralink by Elon Musk in their head, for example.
It would be a good idea not to, because who knows what that man will do with you.
Also, all of the, like, I don't know if they're still killing monkeys, but like in a field where a lot of those problems had already been solved, Neuralink, you know, still basically literally destroying the brains of monkeys and them having to be put down because they could not be treated with the damage that had been done to them.
Yep. So, you know, in our world, the idea is great. And I think that if it were executed properly, I would say that, yes, you're still human. The thing that scares me, and I think this also ties back into Cyberpunk, but less dumb, is the fact that the company that's doing the thing is not an ethical company. They're not ethical at all. And if you look at the history of the person who owns it, you can see a litany of it.
Oh yeah.
Just unethical choices, decisions, and not caring. I think most recently, as of time of recording, murdered tons of people, especially children. In my opinion, allegedly, I'll throw that word in for safety, allegedly, because I don't feel like being the cause of us getting sued.
Actually, I got mixed up for a second. I thought we were still talking about diegetically. So I'm not sure which company we're talking about right now. Maybe that's better for us at the moment on the lawsuit sense.
Yeah, you could say fictional. So going full back to Cyberpunk, I'm confirming that we're back on Cyberpunk. I would say that yes, it still makes you human. I think there's a lot of cool story exploration that can go into it. You know, and that's one of the beauties of Cyberpunk is there's a lot of philosophy and humanity that you can explore with it. It really opens up a lot of potential to safely think about and discuss certain topics, right? And I say safely as in like you can have a discussion, you can have like a quote unquote argument with someone whom you may not agree with, as long as it's framed around the game, right? Because then you're just talking about the game, you can say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it leaves that sphere, then people are more likely to get heated.
Mm.
More people are more likely to get angry. Now, do I think that that's a good thing? I don't know. Um, I think that there are certain topics where if you're discussing it and you figure out the other person is somebody who is not so great
Mm-hmm.
as far as like choices and stances that they have,
Mm-hmm.
you might want to just walk away
Yeah.
rather than keep talking to them.
It's like, fuck off, fucko.
Yeah. Fuck off nachos. Um, but, go play Yahtzee elsewhere. Uh, so,
I'll admit
yeah,
these
coming back to
euphemisms are getting
Cyberpunk.
away from me now.
Coming back to Cyberpunk. I think it's a great tool for a lot of discussion. That said, it's really fun when you go down a quest line
Mm-hmm.
to beat up people. You get into like pit fights and ring fights, and you get to beat up people who are almost completely like a cyborg.
I was gonna
With
say,
your electrified gorilla arms, and you're
I'm
just like
imagining
ba ba
like
ba ba.
you had no problem taking out the champ with your gorilla arms, did you?
No problem at all. I just like ba ba ba,
Did you
and
let
then
did
it
you
was
let the guy
over.
keep his money and his car?
I
The
think I did.
the dad to be.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I let him keep his money and car. Yeah,
Also, to go back to
yeah,
the cyber psycho thing for a moment, I think I've said this as well on a previous podcast. It's like I have an interesting. Well, I don't know if if I'd say I have an interesting take, but the take that occurred to me playing the game is I feel like to an extent Cyberpunk 2077 might make the case diegetically that cyberpsychosis isn't actually a real thing. It's like obviously, or rather, that the thing that's happening isn't being caused by their implants. Because
yeah.
every time you like take one of them down and
Mhm.
you get their backstory after that, you find out they had some sort of massive trauma that actually happened to them that set them
Yeah,
down that course. So it felt to me like a lot of the thesis of those stories was it's not that their prosthetics and cybernetics drove them insane, it's that society broke them.
yeah,
It's like it used them up, spit them out, and it didn't care how they came out the other side of that.
yeah.
Which I find to
And
be a really like, especially like from the ableism angle, it gets more to the heart of what the actual problems in society are. It's not that like you're disabled, it's that the world and society has not adapted itself to be able to accommodate you anymore, or that the world is actually deliberately exploiting you because it doesn't see you as human to begin with, so it'll chew you up and use you and spit you out in the end. Which fits in so well with
and
the various themes of cyberpunk.
and it also is something that we, I won't speak for other countries,
Mm-hmm.
but we as Americans
Oh yeah.
can layer onto our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, you can layer that
people
onto
are
everyone in this fucking hell of a system.
people are very gung ho
Mm-hmm.
about being like, I support the veterans, I support
Mm-hmm.
the military, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when vets come home
Mm-hmm.
and they have mental issues,
Mm-hmm.
they have PTSD, they have,
We're
you know,
slashing VA
all
funding.
these, yeah, they have like physical injuries,
Mm-hmm.
missing limbs, things like that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then where's the people who are like, we support our
Yeah.
troops, right? Where are they?
It's like
Where is that?
the blatant thing there is, to be blatantly political for the moment, like support the troops is just a facade for pouring money into the like the destructive end of military funding for the weapons, for the things that are going to get blown up in the end just to be used for their intended purpose. It's not actually going to paying veterans, caring for their families, funding what they need to survive and prosper. It's a shell game. It's like follow the shell. Which one's got the thing? I'm not sure where I'm going with that
Yeah.
analogy, but it's a sleight of hand, and as always, the average person pays the price to serve the interests of those higher up the socio-political hierarchy.
Yeah. Um, and I don't know if we'll ever get into it as either like a
Mm-hmm.
solo thing or as like a continuation kind of thing, like a season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll bring it up here briefly because I think one of the better military movies
Mm-hmm.
is First Blood,
Mm-hmm.
also known as Rambo,
Mm-hmm.
also known as Rambo First
Yeah.
Blood, the original Rambo movie. And I don't know if it was his intention or not, but
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester Stallone made a movie that really showed somebody who was in the military, who was treated poorly by society,
Mm-hmm.
chewed up, spat out, and nobody gave a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the effects on him throughout the whole thing. And I don't think he kills anybody in that movie.
I have not
If I
seen
recall.
it. I know in the book version he definitely does. In the original novel, he definitely does. But I don't know about the film.
I think in the film he doesn't kill anybody. He gets close. I think he almost kills like the main sheriff guy who has just gone crazy trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have this whole breakdown at the end, which is this really long speech and stuff of Rambo just like
It's been a while, but I think I've seen that in isolation. So
yeah, it's him going on about how he's treated and how others are treated like him. And he talks about his experience with his buddies and the war, and how they ended up, and just all this stuff that occurred to him, that happened to him and his buddies, and how no one in America even knows or cares. And like he even says it himself, back in the field, he could operate $1 million equipment, but in the real world, he can't even get a job washing cars. And so like in the original movie, like the original ending was him dying by suicide. But either that didn't play well with test audiences, or they just made like an executive decision or something like that and just had Rambo, be carted off.
I believe there was
instead.
a alternate ending that kept one closer to the book with Rambo dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we got the official one for the movie being that he, goes to prison basically, for, blowing up a lot of property. But it makes me think of that. And it makes me think of how the military themselves are treated in real life, and the cyber psychosis and how those people are treated also reminded me of that. And it kind of makes me think, okay, so what do we do? And it kind of ties into propaganda a little bit, in that one of the reasons I think that people don't really think about veterans is because, they see all this stuff that's very machismo. For example, in, I think it's Apocalypse Now, there's a scene, and I showed this to to my in-person like courses as an example of, propaganda, rhetorical stuff, where there's a scene where the military is flying in on a bunch of helicopters, right? A bunch of choppers. And it cuts between that and a regular plain old like Vietnam village where there's a bunch of kids running around just trying to live their daily life.
Yeah.
And whenever they cut back to the people in the helicopters, you hear Ride of the Valkyries playing, and it's getting those guys pumped up. And when they get there, because when some of the adults in the Vietnamese village realize that's the American military is coming, they're trying to get everybody out of there. They're trying to get the kids in a safe place. And sure enough, when Ride of the Valkyries hits that peak, you start hearing guns going off. You see it, like you see the footage. They're shooting this entire village up. And they're doing it because they're pumped up. They're like, it's just the Kong. It's Charlie. We're just gonna shoot, right? And that is to say that because it's being like, it's kind of supposed to say that, look at this messed up stuff that's being done, but it doesn't read that way.
You end up kind of getting in on it's the same principle as like whenever conservatives are playing Born in the USA at a political rally.
Yeah, kind of like that. And I promise you, I'm going to try to keep this short. There's a lot to this. I've thought a lot about this.
We could do an entire episode about this shit.
We could. But to keep it short, later on in the movie Jarhead, for example, they actually play that scene for some of those guys who are about to get deployed in a dark theater. And you see them getting pumped up about it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, let's go. We're going to get them. Da, da, da.
Like the horror of it never clicks.
Right. Because, and one of the things that I think it is that if you're trying to make an anti-war movie, I think you need to do it from the other side. So like if we were to say, try to redo Apocalypse Now,
I've never
we would make we would make the main characters
the Vietnamese.
We would see it from their point of view.
Yeah.
Just stuck on there.
You avoid the power fantasy.
You avoid the power fantasy, and more importantly, you avoid seeing people together in a squad bonding. Because that bond allows us to be bound with them as well. We all get connected together, the audience and this small squad of military guys.
There was a
right.
It reminds me of a
we get a we get a degree of intimacy with them, and through that, it doesn't matter what the message is at that point. Yeah. We're with them.
There was
a study what affects
recently
them affects us.
About I forget the specific details of it. Basically, what they found was that, like, when placed into groups where authoritism is reaffirmed, people become more authoritarian. And the basic gist that I kind of got from that is that, like, people, I mean, I've said it in other contexts as well, the way human sociology works, the way our social functioning works, is we tend to go through the path of least resistance. We tend to mirror one another when we're put into groups with one another. We bond, we form communities, and I think the thing you're describing there is the way that happens through narrative as well. Narrative can be a thing that enlarges the community circle, becomes reinforcement mechanisms, support mechanisms, so on and so forth. So I think you're really touching on something important there, both like not just within these works specifically, but within narrative in general, and the kinds of stories we tell ourselves and how we tell stories if we want our messages to be effective and not backfire into the opposite of our intents. Like as we like Apocalypse Now is not supposed to be a pro-war film, and yet again, it gets people pumped up for war.
Yeah. Same with Jarhead, same with Full Metal Jacket, like tons of it. It's just one of those things.
And it's
And like I said, I think if you want to make an actual anti-war film, just to kind of wrap it up on my side of things, you got to get it from the other side.
Well, in a way too, I think Cyberpunk kind of succeeds at that. Not in an anti, it's not an anti-war piece, mind you, but it is very like there is the risk of like reaffirming the corporate, reaffirming the power fantasy. Because, like, I mean, admittedly, it is very much a power fantasy, but think of the way every one of those fucking story beats ends.
Yeah.
And what they're saying. The good ones revolve around you getting the fuck out of the system in one way or
Yeah.
another. And the story beats that either keep you in or put you in deeper are all so destructive to V. Like,
Yeah.
and Phantom Liberty included. Like, Phantom Liberty, spoilers, folks, sorry, I think we're nearing the end of this episode going by our timeline
Yeah.
here. But, like, Phantom Liberty, way that can end, you can get the cure. You can get cured. But when you do that, you disappear. You don't contact anyone before you leave. You go off with, I forget Idris Elba's character's name, you go off with him, and you're in a coma for 3 years. And they get Johnny out of you, but they had to strip everything out of you. And you can't get cyberware again, most likely. And you've got nowhere else to go but back to Night City as a regular person. All of that shit that happened to you, like, all your dreams of, like, being the firework or whatever, however you want to phrase it, that's gone. You're not gonna be the big legend now. It's like you
I killed
see, like,
Idris Elba.
I did too. I did. I mean, I couldn't let all that shit happen to Songbird. I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Fuck that guy.
I think he is an amazing character, and I would love to talk more about that
Yeah.
someday. But like, there's a reason that his gun is called Pariah, I think.
Yeah.
It's like he is an absolutely amazing character, but he like the theme we're talking about right here. He couldn't extricate himself. He knew he was in a fucked up system, but because of his code and everything he believed, he could not extricate himself from that, even as it was destroying the people he cared about. And in the end, to save the person he cared about, you had to kill him. You have to kill him because he's going to take Songbird back to the president. She's going to become the president's digital slave again. And it's just, what Cyberpunk really gets at is you either have to, like, you on your own are not going to be able to break the system. And so the only way out to survive, really, is to get out from under the system. It's like, for example, like like we've mentioned now, Phantom Liberty's ending. If you stick with that, and so like you lose not only those 3 years, you lose not only all your cyberware, all your dreams, you lose all your connections. Everyone's in your life moved on. Like Misty became a fucking edge runner while you were away. God only knows what's going to happen to her now. Likewise, if you go down the path, I forget what the ending exactly is, where like you kind of take over for, is it Rose that I'm thinking of, the fixer, Johnny's former
I think
squeeze?
so.
Like if you kind of take over in her place, like you got that fancy apartment, yeah. And hey, if you romance Judy, Judy's with you, but the dissolution of like the rotting of your relationship together, the hollowness that's happened is palpable in that ending.
Yep.
Like you've done it. You're the top dog in Night City. People come to you now as like the ace legendary fixer, but you don't got anything in the end. It's like you get contracted and you go and do another job, and God only knows if you'll see Judy when you get back. She might not be waiting for you after you go on this fucking orbital heist, and
Yeah,
she just can't stop doing it. Or like
it's true.
if you take the devil's bargain, literally the tarot associated with that ending is the devil, and you go to
Yeah.
Arasaka to get help. You basically sign away your life to Arasaka,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. It's like the only way through really is out. Because what Night City does is it offers you all of these empty promises, all this sparkle, all this glory, and it's just there to eat you and spit you back out again. If it spits you out at all. More likely you'll get
Yeah.
shat out instead.
True. That's very stinky.
Yeah.
Um. Well, any final? Well, I guess that would be a good, solid final thought,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
It would.
So let's tie that into the end. Thank you all, Voidwalkers, for listening to us on this shorter episode.
Mm-hmm.
Where can our Voidwalkers find you?
All right. You can find me over on Twitch and YouTube both at Lanzalencia. That's LANZALENTZIA. I've started doing streams again. When you see this, it should hopefully still be August, where I am trying to get through all four main Onimusha games in the build up to the early September release of the new Onimusha, Onimusha Way of the
Nice.
Sword, in a series that I've borrowed heavily from Liz, mind you, where she had her Road to Redemption. I have the Path of Onimusha.
Very
I
nice.
made a nearly 12-minute long intro sequence for those episodes.
Ooh,
Please bear with me, folks. I do really dumb edits for things I'm really interested in.
I feel that. Um,
What about you, Dave? Where can they find you?
you guys can find me at twitch.tv/sheriff_Flynn. I know I haven't done much in the way of streaming.
Mhm.
Life has been real busy. It
Oh
gets
yeah.
busy when you are between doing work and preparing for a wedding. Even when you're as far out as I am from the wedding, there's still a lot of things to prep, to get ready, all that good stuff. I do have a couple projects in the works, but I'll wait till those are closer to being done before I really talk about them.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I have a YouTube as well that I haven't really gotten much in the way of uploading to, which is at Sheriff Flynn. Yeah. As far as communication, where can our Voidwalkers or anybody for that matter send mail?
Before that, also, even though she's not here this week,
Yep.
you can also find Liz on Twitch as well, under her
Mhm.
handle Lady Hyacinth 57, as in the flower, not the Bridgerton character.
That's right.
She had
No
it before
Bridgerton
Bridgerton
here.
was a thing, or at least she had the
Yep.
handle. I don't know where Twitch handle. I don't that. I'm getting tongue tied. Anyhow, you can find us in those nice little handy things right here. But
Yep.
let's flip that around. Note to future me, and you can email us at theconfabulators@gmail.com if you want us to read your thoughts and questions on the show, assuming that they're not assholery and shittery, mind you. Those will go right in the garbage. Maybe we'll print
Yeah.
them out and set them on
Um,
fire.
I wouldn't
But
waste the ink. Um,
fire's
where
fun.
can they find us when we stream together?
All right, you can find our streams when we have them live over on Twitch at the Confabulation Station. You can also find the Confabulation Station on YouTube if you're watching this, or if you're listening to the audio version of this episode. If you're watching the version of this, you've already found us. You're here, you're there, yay! But yeah, the Confabulation Station on YouTube as well, and we're the Confabulators on Blue Sky if you want to message us on there. And of course,
Yeah.
folks, feel free to rate and review us on your podcast platform of choice. Helps get the show spread around more, helps people become
Yeah.
aware. We'd love to have more Voidwalkers, join the audience, that sort of thing.
That's right. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm E. And Dave, if they don't know what a confabulator is, who should they ask?
I would probably say they should ask Skippy.
I trust Skippy. He's got good aim.
Skippy. Yeah. Non-lethal aim.
Yeah. Until next time, folks. See you
Peace out.
Later. Tonic dance, tonic dance, tonic dance as the fade out happens. Tonic dance, tonic dance, tonic dance as the fade out happens. Fading out now. See you next time. Tonic dance, tonic dance, tonic dance.
Beautiful.
Fade out.
The Confabulators is hosted by Liz Strauss and Dave Bockenkamp. Editor is E.W. Klein. Theme music, Oh Heavens, is by Cassidy B., composer and artist. Found at cbrva.cardd.co.